Hey guys, Steve with BBQ Pit Stop, and today I'm going to show you how I like to cook a pork butt. This is a really economical and easy thing to cook when you're feeding the masses, or even each pork butt will feed about 20 people. This is about a 10-pound pork butt, and so yeah, this will do approximately about 20 sandwiches. It's a really simple cook, and so let's get at it. It's a simple trim. What I'm going to do, the first thing I'm looking for is right in here. You'll see there's like just little slivers of bone. I try to get rid of those. They just get my knife in here and shave those off really quick. So I'm just looking for bone and cartilage on this surface here. I usually, on this muscle here, in the competition world, they call this the money muscle, because that's a lot of the meat that's turned in a contest. It's some of the best meat on the pork butt. It's most tender and flavorful. So I just trim off a little bit of the fat on top of that. And then I'm gonna just go around the edges and feel for any little shards of bone. On this end here, a lot of times I'll cut the fat cap off, just the end here, so I can get seasoning directly on the meat. I usually will take a look at the fat cap, and if there's anything that seems abnormally thick, I'll just trim a little bit of that off. But that's probably pretty good. Just like so. Now, yeah, I'm glad actually this pork we're preparing today actually has a little piece of bone right here on the end of this money muscle. So I'm glad it's on here so I can show it to you. That's a relatively common place that you'll find a little bone that you're going to want to remove. So I just cut that off. I usually just cut along the bottom of the money muscle here and just trim that off, just get that fat off there. And then just like so. Really, about all you need to do as far as a trim. So it's much simpler trim than something like a brisket. And so now, all I'm gonna do is season this up. My favorite rub is pork star for ribs and pork butt. So that's what we're gonna use today is pork star. What I like to do is I season the edges first. So we're gonna season the five sides. We're gonna do all the edges and the top. I'm not gonna season the fat cap. And so all I'm gonna do is tip this up and then give it a good amount of rub on here. And what I like to do, one option you can do is some people use a binder, which could be like an olive oil or a mustard before they put the rub on, but I don't typically do that. I can usually get the rub to stick enough rub to stick well enough without it. And I just put a decent coat on there and then I pat it to get it to adhere to the meat. And so pick that up again. And I'm gonna put just about as much as I can get to stick. All right, now we're just gonna come hit the top here. Each one of these bottles of pork star will do approximately 6 pork butts. So yeah, each bottle will do 6 pork butts. And when we're done, when this comes off the smoker and we're ready to shred it and prepare it, we will reseason the top of the meat. And so those 6 pork butts, that's including reseasoning. As you can see, that's a pretty even coat there, decent amount of rub. And now what I like to do is I just let this I'll let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes until it starts to sweat. So you'll see the surface starting to get kind of wet, and that's when I'll usually put it on the smoker. All right, it's been about 20 minutes since we seasoned this pork butt. You can see it started to sweat and it's ready to go on the smoker. We have the smoker set at 250 degrees. And we're just gonna put this on fat side down, fat cap down. We're gonna leave that on the smoker like so for 6 hours, and then we're gonna come out and wrap it and add vinegar to the wrap. All right guys, the pork butt's been on the smoker for 6 hours at 250 degrees. We're just out here to give it to check on it. It should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 140 to 150 degrees, usually obviously somewhere around 145, but let's see where we're at. Yeah, right around 146. Check it one more spot. It's ready to be wrapped. It's got a nice red color to it. It will continue to build bark as it's wrapped. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get some foil ready. So what we use the Costco, but any of the heavy duty wide foil works really well for this. So what I like to do is I pull out that's probably about close to 3 feet, and then I'm gonna double it and cut that off. And then, let's see, I'm just gonna fold that in half like so. We're going to use Scott's vinegar sauce in the wrap. I use about a half cup, approximately about a half a cup per pork butt. It's got a lot of spices in it, so it's important to give this a shake before you use it. So, I'm gonna just grab this. Give it a little shake, and then what I like to do is just to keep the vinegar from flowing off the foil, as I just kind of fold it up a little bit like so. Then I just, like I said, just about a half a cup is all you need. And so then what I like to do is I fold in the sides, and I go to one end and I kind of pinch it, and then you fold this over like so, and then do the same thing on the opposite end, and then you just tuck it in tight. I just kind of squeeze or tighten up the foil, and then it goes back on the smoker at 250 degrees for about another 4 hours, or until it reaches 200 degrees. All right guys, so the pork butt's been on the smoker for about 10 hours now. We wrapped it about 4 hours ago. We're looking for a finish temperature of around 200 degrees. Just 200, 203, anywhere somewhere in there is gonna give you a good finish temp. We've been cooking it at a temperature of 250 degrees since it went on the smoker. So let's see, 201, let's see, 201. So it's done, it's ready to come off. We're gonna take it back up to the kitchen and show you how we finish this up. All right guys, we took this pork butt off the smoker about an hour ago, so it's been resting in a cooler for about an hour. And now I'm gonna show you how I like to prepare it. So you can see it looks good. Got a good bark, good color. The pork star, I really like the color you get with the pork star. It's really good color. But so there's a couple different ways you can handle breaking this up or shredding this. There's a great accessory out there made by Barbecue Butler called Bear Paws, and they work really well. You can shred them. But since I'm just doing one pork butt today, I'm just going to do it by hand. What I like to do is put some knit gloves underneath my nitrile gloves so I don't burn myself. And then I will just take one foil pan or one container and put it next to the other, and I just kind of loosely break the meat up into just chunks, and I don't get it too shredded yet, because that will come in the next step. But I'm really just trying to separate the fat from the meat when I'm doing this. Ooh, that's warm. Even after an hour, it's still, even with the knit gloves, it'll get you. Just remove the bone here, the shoulder bone. Maybe something that not everybody knows that's watching this is, I just thought of it when I said shoulder bone. They call this a pork butt, but it's actually the front shoulder of a pig, and so that's They'll call it a pork butt, but if you see it in stores, a lot of times they'll say pork shoulder, but it is the front shoulder. The rear quarter of a pig is the ham. So just looking for chunks of fat. I'll just kind of run my fingers across the bottom to get the fat cap off the bottom. And as you break this up, you'll notice, there's a bunch of different muscles within a pork shoulder, and some are, like this for instance, is a very light white meat, and it's a little stringier, a little tougher, but you can blend it all together, you can't really tell, but yeah, some are more tender than others, and so that's, like I mentioned earlier, we cooked this it was about 201 degrees. We're always looking for right around 200 to 203 degrees finish temperature in the center of the pork butt. And that gives you, I feel like that gives you the best balance between tenderness and it doesn't turn mushy. And so it's still got some firmness to the muscle, but it's still good and tender. So what we're doing here is just looking for the rest of the meat near the fat cap, but we got most of it here. And then what we've done is we've reserved, this is the pork au jus and the Scotch sauce vinegar that we placed, or that we put in the pork when we wrapped after 6 hours. And so now we have some really good au jus to pour into this pork, and we're going to, all right, I think we're gonna call that good. That's pretty much all of it. The rest is just pretty much just fat cap. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the pork star again. My hands are a little slimy on this one, but normally I'll put a glove around the bottle of rub to keep it from getting greasy. I'll have to wipe this off when I'm done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reseason now. I'm gonna put a pretty good coat on top of this. As you'll see, I mean, it's, a fair amount of it, just like so. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this au jus and vinegar, and I'm gonna pour, on this one I think I'll be able to pour all of it. Sometimes you'll get a little bit more than you may want, and I won't use it all, but this looks like it's gonna be just about the perfect amount. So I pour that kind of over the pork star that I just rubbed, or that I just put on top of the pork. And so now we just kind of evenly distribute that around. And it's a, like I said, mix of vinegar, au jus, a little bit of rendered fat, all really good stuff to make the big difference in the overall finished product here. So now I'm just gonna kind of just, I don't know, massage this a little bit and squeeze it through my hands, and that's gonna break up the pork a little bit more, and mix in that rub that we put on the top. And yeah, so we're just trying to just blend that and then break up the pork just a bit more. I'm pretty close, so you can see it's not all that difficult. Okay, guys, this is all pretty much ready to go here. This is ready to be served. I'm going to give it a little try. Really good. Don't forget the steps of reseasoning and reserving that au jus. It makes all the difference. You don't have to pick through the pork looking for bark for flavor. It's all blended in really nicely. Hope you enjoy this video, and remember to like and subscribe to our page.